And then the last one for me, Saturday's going to be Robbie Lawler's last fight in the UFC. So I'm curious if you have any favorite memories or favorite fights from his career.
Oh, man. Obviously, favorite fight. You can't go anywhere else than Rory McDonald's fight. And, obviously, you can almost go and say in that same fight is the favorite moment ever where they just did that stare down. And Robbie Lawler, his lip was so busted. And when he spit, there was just blood everywhere. And, of course, another massive, massive moment in his career is when him and Johnny Hendricks fought. And it was almost, that became his signature move. Like the last minute and a half, he would just be like, even though he's so tired, just go like, oh, it's my opponent's holding Thai pads, and he'll just be teeing off, kicking and kicking and kicking. And the fact that the man in all of his fights didn't go for a submission once, that is the coolest thing ever, and that is so badass. He has all my respect, and he's an absolute legend.
Oh, man, there's so many. So many. I mean, that war they had the face off, you know what I mean? And his lip was just completely open. That's got to be a pretty iconic moment. So even myself and Ortega had like a face off, you know what I mean? I was even like sort of thinking I get them sort of vibes, you know what I mean? So that just shows you, that's a big moment for me. But I think of that when I look at that Ortega. So it shows you how much of a big moment that was, especially the blood they had and the war they had. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, my favorite Robbie Lawler memory is his fight against Rory McDonald. I can assume most people thought I was going to say that, but absolutely insane moment. And specifically in that fight was the moment, I think it was in between the 4th and 5th round, where the bell rang and they both stood in the center of the canvas, and Robbie Lawler just spit blood all over the canvas, and I was like, this is a freaking savage. So, being on the same card as him in his retirement fight is a huge honor for me, and I'm definitely a big Robbie Lawler fan.
Man, of Robbie? I mean, of course, man. That one with Rory McDonald, if you are a huge UFC fan, you can't forget that one. I mean, he's a warrior, and I'm just happy to share the card with him.
Favorite fight memory? I was there when Robbie fought Carlos Condit. Went 5 rounds of Carlos Condit in the absolute war. Obviously the McDonald fight, but man, massive Robbie Lawler fan. Like throughout the years, this will be. Oh, if he gets, I'm gonna go berserk. If he knocks him out, and then I have to walk out, I'm gonna be like, that might get me in trouble. I might have to not watch the Robbie Lawler fight until after my fight.
One of my favorite memories of Robbie is my coaches were trying to get to, I think, was it the pre-fight weigh-in show or one of the weigh-in some show, and he ended up giving them tickets. And I was like, oh, that's really sweet of him. So that's one of my favorite memories of Robbie. And then I can't forget when he fought Carlos Condit, because I trained with Carlos for that fight, and I thought Carlos won, but then looking back, I'm like, it was still a close fight, So that was it.
Well, that fight specifically, it seems like a lot of fighters always look at the Rory fight as their favorite fight, and not a lot of people bring up that Condit fight. Do you think it's just because the like you said, you thought Condit won, that the result was a little controversial? There wasn't blood, there wasn't the gash, the image of that Rory fight that kind of overshadows that Condit fight?
The reason why I feel like it's overlooked, like you're saying, is it was volume versus damage. Volume versus big strikes, so it goes hand in hand depending on how you look. But I trained with Carlos, for that camp, so I was like, that's my boy. I wanted him to win.
Yes, I do. The Roy McDonald fight is awesome. That's just a fight of two warriors not quitting, and then Robbie screaming at someone with 3 lips. So I would say that's probably one of the favorite.
He's an absolute legend. He was, when I was a welterweight, I remember watching him, and I remember saying to myself, like, screw fighting that guy. Like, because he's just so malicious. He becomes like soulless when he's fighting, and like you can tell he would bite you if he could. Like, and that was an intimidating dude. So he's had an outstanding career, and I am privileged to be able to be on his last fight card.
When I just started watching MMA, Robbie Lawler, he fought Nick Diaz. That was a good fight.
That was
That
back
was a
in the
good
day.
fight. He fought. It was a bloody one. He fought, I think, Roy McDonald. Yeah, that was a bloody one. So, and then he won the welterweight championship. So I know who Robbie Lawler is. Yeah. So for him to go out like this and for me to be on a platform like this with him retiring, I mean, couldn't get me no better than that. You know, it's a dream come true.
Yeah, it was Robbie Lawler against this famous fight. I just forgot.
Is it Rory?
Yeah, Rory McDonald. That was a crazy fight. You know, they were all busted up, and yes, something memorable. I think that this Thursday they're gonna induct that fight to the Hall of Fame. So yeah, that fight.